Trine 2 follows on from the colourful puzzle adventuring of the original Trine, in which 3 companions have to make their way through a mysterious land.
What is it? Who's there?
Amadeus the wizard, Zoya the sly thief, and the brave knight Pontius are reunited when the Trine appears to them once again and carries them off into the wilderness. And what a wilderness it is. I mean, this game is just stunning to look at.
Rosabel's castle shouldn't be far now.
Stunning detail and a rainbow explosion of colour on every screen that will make you literally stop and gape at the scene in front of you.
Oh, heck, you could have warned me about the rainbow explosion. Oh, so bright. The idea is to make use of each character's individual abilities to solve environmental puzzles to help you move forward. Whew. Enemies will appear from time to time too, but not all of your adventurers can attack from the start, so you'll mostly be using your knight initially to take down foes.
I found the puzzles in this game to be, on the whole, fairly balanced. Some were quite simple, but others provided a wonderful challenge and will have most humans racking their brains for a solution. It did bother me, however, that there was very little consequence for death in the game.
Well, if you were using a particular character to solve a puzzle and they died, you then have to try and solve that same puzzle with a different character, which sometimes worked, but other times you'd really need that first character to be able to get through it. But if all 3 characters died, you'd simply restart at a checkpoint, which was usually only a few steps back anyway. So I agree it was a little too forgiving in that respect.
I think the aim is to keep things focused on the puzzling, so you're not just replaying the same part of a level over and over again. The puzzles themselves consist mainly of conjuring boxes, redirecting water flow, avoiding flames, spikes, and poisonous gases, and even using portals. It annoyed me how heavily weighted the action was on using the wizard's conjure and levitate abilities. The poor knight hardly sees any action, and the thief is just there mainly for her grapple to swing.
Yeah, far too many puzzles in this game can simply be solved by building stairs out of boxes. I mean, it's the lamest way to get yourself out of a bind, and usually there is a cleverer way to do it, but it's hard not to take the magic option if it's right there.
Yeah, if they made more use of the thief's arrows or the knight's hammer throw, then I think it would have been more fun, because just every time I was confronted with a new puzzle, I went straight to the wizard. There is a lot of game here though, and it does get trickier as you progress.
For a little platformer like this, I was pleasantly surprised by how accurate the physics were. Although some of the portal puzzles in the game seem to have been pulled directly from Portal itself, but it still adds a tricky complication to the mix. I liked this one where the portals were used to redirect the fire to the bottom of a cauldron. Then you produced bubbles which you could float on up to the next platform. Floating.
As you progress, you'll level up, and just like an RPG, you'll acquire skill points which you can use to give each character certain new abilities. I put all my points into my wizard early on, allowing him to conjure multiple items, because the only other abilities for the other characters seem to be attack abilities to help you out with enemies, which wouldn't help you with puzzling at all. Although Zoya does get some cool ice arrows.
Little insects, come to me. I crush your bones and make pudding of your flesh.
There is a puzzle hint system in the game for noobs, but I'd recommend turning it off until you really feel as though you cannot continue without it.
The real fun in this game is the challenge, and this game will challenge you. However, you can team up with a friend in co-op and work through in tandem to get through those puzzles together. 2 heads are better than 1.
Yes, it must be said though that a considerable amount of difficulty is taken out of the game when you play in co-op. Because you've got 2 people working in tandem, that means having 2 characters on screen at once, where you'd normally only have 1 character ability.
Indeed. With 2 characters on the screen at once, it was easy to just use the wizard to levitate another character on a box across the gap.
Exactly, and if that character then gets to the next checkpoint, then the other characters will simply spawn there, so you don't even have to work out how to get everyone across.
That's cheating.
Darren, it's not cheating if it's part of the game. It's just a tactic. Well, I think we should wrap this up. I could stare at this game for hours. It's just so beautiful, and the animations of the people in the game is just so human. Plus, all that detail that's gone into the fleeting background shows real love from the people who made it. So I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
You know, that bioluminescent feel really reminded me of another game that we reviewed, Creviers. It also had 3 characters to alternate between. Do you remember that? But here in Trine 2, I thought the puzzling was a little bit more sophisticated, and graphically it just blew me away. It could have used a little bit more character variety, but I'm giving it 8 as well.